Hi, my darlings, back again for more learning. It is now time for our math lesson for Monday, August 31st. And we're going to get to our workbook, so let's get to that. But first, our robot video. Let's see what robot has to teach us today.
How many balloons is Alex holding? He is holding 2 balloons. How do you know? One way is to count the balloons. 1, 2. Another way is to place a cube on each balloon. Then count the cubes. 1, 2. There are 2 cubes and 2 balloons. How many balloons does Alex have now? He has 1 balloon. What number do you use to show how many balloons there are? You use the number 1. How many balloons does Alex have now? He has none. What number do you write to show how many balloons there are? You write the number 0. You used the numbers 0, 1, and 2 to tell how many.
Okay, my darlings, so today's lesson, we are working on writing and doing the number 0. So 0's kind of easy to recognize when you see it because it kind of looks like a letter. You see what letter this kind of looks like? It kind of looks like the letter O, but this is the number 0. Whereas an O looks a little more like a circle, but a 0 looks a little more like an oval. So when you talk about having nothing of something and you wanted to use a number to talk about nothing, I have no cookies, I have nothing, you would use the word 0. So 0 means nothing, none, zilch, nada. I have 0 cookies. I want cookies, but I have 0 cookies. And when you are numbering that, that is the number 0. So this is 0. So today's lesson is kind of easy. So we're going to actually get a twofer. We're going to do 2 lessons in one. We're going to talk about the number 0, and we're going to practice writing it with some of our other numbers that we've learned about. So let me go to our textbook, our workbook. And it looks like we're going to practice counting before we get into writing our number 0. So here we have some apples. Can you see those apples on the plate? I see the nice red scrumptious apples. Can you help me count those apples? Yeah? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 apples on that plate. Let's see if they colored in the right amount of rectangles. You ready to count the rectangles that they colored? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 apples and they colored 3 rectangles. So were they correct with the rectangles? Yep, they sure were. So that one is good. Now let's go over here to this plate. Do we see any apples on this plate? No. So what number apples do we have? Since there's nothing, nada, zilch, not a thing. How many apples do we have? We have 0 apples. Let's check to see if they colored in the correct amount of rectangles. Now, since they have 0 apples, should they have colored in any rectangles? No, there should be no rectangles colored in because there are 0 apples, so there should be 0 rectangles colored in. Do you see any rectangles colored in? Nope, there sure are not. So that's correct. 0 apples, 0 rectangles colored. 0. Turning the page. All right, it looks like we're doing some more practice counting and coloring in our rectangles to match. So we've got some nanners on a plate here. Can you see those? Help me count those. Here we go. I see 1 and 2. So there are 2 bananas. So how many rectangles do I need to color in? I need to color in 2 rectangles. And remember what I said that I do when I'm coloring in the rectangles? I count them to make sure that I'm coloring in the right number of rectangles. So here we go. 2 bananas, 2 rectangles we need to color in. 1, 2. So easy, right? I'm gonna move this just a little bit, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go over to the strawberries. Can you help me count those strawberries? Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 strawberries. So how many rectangles should I color in? 5. I need to color 5 rectangles. Are you ready to help me count those rectangles so I can make sure to color the right amount? Good, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 strawberries, and I colored in 5 rectangles. Okay, let's go down to this plate here. Do you see anything on that plate? I don't see anything. I see nothing. And what number means nothing? 0 means nothing. So 0 on the plate. Do I need to color in rectangles? No, I'm not going to color in any rectangles because there's nothing on the plate. So 0 rectangles and 0 fruit. Yeah, easy peasy. All right, here we go to this one. Looks like we've got some more strawberries. Do you like strawberries? I like strawberries very much. Very, very. Oh, I really like strawberry banana smoothies. Have you ever had a strawberry banana smoothie? If not, you should try it. I love it. If you're allergic, definitely don't try it. But I love strawberry banana smoothies. Okay, help me count the strawberries. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 strawberries. So how many rectangles do I need to color in? 4. You ready to count them so I can make sure I color in the right amount? Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Were you counting with me? I hope so, because I need your help. 4 strawberries, 4, and 4 rectangles. All right, now we're down to the bananas. Looks like we do have some bananas on the plate here. So we're gonna count those bananas. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 bananas. So how many rectangles do I need to color in? 3. I need to color in 3 rectangles. And remember, we're gonna count as we color to make sure that we're coloring the right amount of rectangles. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2. All done. Wait, what? I'm not all done? Are you sure? 1, 2. How many was I supposed to color in? What? 3? So I need to color in more? 1, 2. Hold on. Are you sure? Let me check my bananas. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you were right. I was supposed to color in 3 rectangles, but I only colored in 2. So I need to color 1 more. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, is that right? Yes, it is. All right, let's look at our last plate. Is there any fruit on that plate? I don't see any fruit. Do you see any fruit? So what does nothing mean? What's the number for nothing? 0 is for nothing. So there's no fruit, nothing on the plate. So am I going to color in any rectangles? No. 0 rectangles, 0 fruit on the plate. So is this one done? Yeah, done. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to erase. And make sure that you have your journal, your crayons, and your pencil, because we're going to get to our next lesson, which is reading and writing the number 0. I told you it would be pretty easy, so we could do a twofer. We could do 2 lessons in 1. All right, my darlings. So they're showing us about the number 0, and remember I said the number 0 is shaped like an oval. It's long. It's not round like a circle. It's long and a little bit skinnier. So this is not a 0. This is our 0. It's long and it's thin. So we're going to practice that. So you can go ahead and grab your journal so you can also practice the other numbers that we've been learning to write. And you know your journal, this book right here. And we're going to practice writing it with your pencil. You ready? Got your stuff ready? Got your pencil? Got your journal? Good. All right, it looks like we need to count the pencils in this pencil cup first. So help me count those first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 pencils. So what number do we need to write? We need to write the number 3. So do you remember how to write your number 3? You start a little bit below the top line and you curve around and around. So go ahead in your journal and practice your number 3s with me. All right, we're gonna write another number 3. Here's the top line. We're gonna go a little bit below that, and we're gonna curve around to the middle and then around to the bottom. Good. Looks like we have another number 3 to write. So again, here's the top line. We're gonna go a little bit below that, curve up and around to the middle, and then up and around to the bottom. So we wrote 3 3s. All right, the next cup, do we see any pencils in this cup? No, I don't see nothing. I see no pencils. I see 0 pencils. So let's practice writing our 3. So our 3, we start at the top line and we curve a little bit and we go all the way to the bottom, and then we curve a little bit and back to the top. Let's do that again. Start at the top, curve a little bit, go to the bottom, curve a little bit, and back to the top. Remember, our 0 is skinny. It's not really fat or round like a little letter O. Our 0 is skinnier. It's not super skinny. It's not that skinny. It's a little bit wider than that. All right, let's write another 0. Start at the top, curve just a little bit, to the bottom, curve a little bit, and back to the top. Those are some good looking 0s. How are yours looking? Good? Good. All right, I'm going to turn the page. Looks like we're going to practice some more writing of our numbers after we count the pencils in the pencil cup. And you're still on your journal page. You can write these numbers all on the same line. You don't have to switch yet. You're going to write, like we started with 0, then we're at 3s, and we're in the next one. So you can stay on the same line for these numbers we're about to write. All right, help me count these pencils here. How many do you see? You see 2? All right, help me count them. Let's make sure. 1, 2. You were right. There's 2 pencils. Do you remember how to write your number 2? Oh, yeah? All right, so we're below the top line. We curve up and around and slant and stop. And then go straight over. Remember we used our hearts to figure out how to write a number 2? Yeah, it's like a number 2 is half of a heart. Let's write another 2. Here's the top line. Go a little bit below that. Curve up and around, slant, stop, and go over. Remember to stop right here so you can get a nice sharp corner right there. A nice straight bottom. All right, we're going to write another number 2. Here's the top line. Go a little bit below that. Curve up and around and slant, stop, and go straight over. How are your 2s looking? Good? Good. All right, let's go to this one. Can you count those pencils for me? I'll wait a second. How many pencils do you see? You see 3? All right, help me count them so that I can make sure. 1, 2, 3. You were right. There are 3 pencils in there. So then what number do we need to write? The number 3. So here's the top line in your journals. We're going to write it. Go a little bit below the top line, curve around to the middle, and curve around to the bottom. You're doing good? Good. Let's write another one. A little bit below the top line, curve around to the middle and around to the bottom. And it looks like we have one more 3 to write for this one. Here's the top line. Go down just a little bit. Curve around to the middle and around to the bottom. 3 3s. Okay, let's go to our next cup here. How many pencils do you see in that cup? None? 0? Nada? So what number should we write? 0. We need to write the number 0. Okay, let's start at the top. Curve just a little bit. Go to the bottom, curve a little bit, and meet back at the top. That's a good looking 0. How's your 0 looking? Good. Let's write another one. Start at the top, curve around just a little bit to the bottom, curve a little bit, and back to the top. And we need to write one more 0. Start at the top, curve a little bit, around to the bottom, curve a little bit, back to the top. Those are good looking 0s. Let's go to our next cup of pencils. How many pencils do you see? Yeah, I see 1 pencil. I mean, that's easy. 1 pencil. We're going to write the number 1. The number 1 was so easy for us, wasn't it? Yeah, so let's write our number 1. Start at the top on your journal line and then go straight down. And pick your pencil up. There's our 1. Let's do it again. Start at the top. Move straight down and pick your pencil up. We need one more 1. And go to the top and to the bottom and pick that pencil up. And there's our 1s, looking very perfect. All right, we have 2 more to do. How many pencils do you see in this cup? Can you see those pencils? Go ahead and count them. How many pencils did you see? 2? Well, help me count them so I can make sure that's right. 1, 2. You were right. So we need to write our number 2s in your journal. Here's the top line, a little bit below that. Curve around, slant, stop, and straight over. Let's do that again. Go below the top line just a little bit. Curve around, slant, stop, and straight over. One more 2 we need to write on the line. Here's the top line. Go down just a little bit. Curve around, slant, stop, and over. Oh, there's some good looking 2s. Okay, last one. How many pencils in this pencil cup? None? You sure you don't see any? Not 1? Not 2? Not 3? There's no pencils in that cup? Okay, well, what number do we write to show nothing? 0. We're going to write the number 0. So in your journal, start at the top, curve around, and curve back up. That looks good. Go back to your journal. Here we go again. We're at the top, curve around, and to the bottom, curve a little bit, and back to the top. And it's okay, it doesn't have to look perfect because this is probably a lot of ours first time writing the number 0. So just do your best. We have 1 more to write. Start at the top, curve around to the bottom and back to the top. Looking good. Okay, so on your journal, we're done with our workbook page. You should have, let me see what we've got. you should have 3 2s. Oh, I'm going to change my color. Sorry, guys. You should have 3 2s. You should also have 3 3s. 1, 2, 3, around and around. 3 zeros, top to bottom, top to bottom, back to top, top to bottom, back to top. You should also have 3 1s. 1, 1, 1. Those are just straight from top to bottom. We have 3 more 2s. Around, slant, stop, over. Around, slant, stop, over. Around, slant, stop, over. And you should also have 3 more zeros. At the top, curve a little bit, down, curve a little bit, back to the top. We're at the top, curve a little bit, down, curve a little bit, to the top. We're at the top, we curve a little bit to the bottom, curve a little bit, and back to the top. So these are the numbers you should have in your journal. Now we're going to illustrate. So grab your crayons. I've got my colors ready. I think I'm going to start with blue. Okay, so our first number, let's start off with the first number when you're in the number line. So the first number in the number line, it's actually 0, which means nothing. And then there's 1. And then what comes next after 1? 2. What's after 2? 3. Okay, so if we are going to illustrate something that's 0, 0 means what? It means nothing. So are we going to draw anything under a 0? Nope, we're not, because 0 means nothing. We're not going to draw anything. We're going to leave it blank. Let's go to our number 1. I've got my blue. Now, since we have a number 1, that means we need to illustrate how many of something. 1. Let's illustrate a cloud in the sky. Just one cloud. When I illustrate my clouds, I kind of go around and around and around. And there's my cloud. One cloud for my number 1. One cloud. You go ahead and illustrate your cloud. All right, next we have a number 2. So we need to illustrate how many of something. We need to illustrate 2 of something. What do we want to illustrate now? Oh, let's illustrate some raindrops. Yeah? It has not rained in what feels like forever. It has been so hot outside, and it has not rained in such a long time. Okay, so let's illustrate 2 raindrops. My raindrops, I kind of illustrate like the fire flame that was on the candles. I start at the top, and I curve around, and then meet back at the top. And then I'm going to color that in. I'm gonna illustrate another one because it's the number 2. I start at the top, I curve down, around, and meet back at the top. And I'm gonna color that in. And I kept them blue because that's the color I would use to show rain. I would use blue. All right, our next number, we have the number 3. So we need to illustrate how many of something. 3, we need to illustrate 3 of something. How about we illustrate the sun? Let's illustrate 3 suns. So I'm going to grab my yellow. And a sun, what shape would you use? Circles. So I'm going to go, here's my first sun. 1, 2, 3. Now some of us draw suns differently. Some people draw suns kind of like this, with all the lines out. Color it in. That's one sun. Some people like to illustrate their suns
Come to the office, please. Thanks.
with these little points. That's another sun. I like that sun. That sun's not too bad either. You can illustrate your sons however you like. I'm going to erase this one and move it over a little bit. 1 son, 2 son, here's my 3rd son. And actually, I'm going to change the color a little bit. I'm going to add some orange to this one. Where's my orange? And my yellow, I'm going to go back to yellow. I need another orange. I need another orange point. Change it back to orange. You can illustrate your sons however you like. And this one I'm going to make a smiley happy son. There's my happy son. Okay, so here we have 0, and 0 means what? It means nothing. Then we have 1 cloud, 2 raindrops, and 3 suns. I'm going to make all my sons happy because they're all happy to be out and shining. And there's my 3 sons. Don't forget to take a picture of your journal and send me a photo so I can see how wonderful your numbers look and your illustrations. Really quick, help me count. We're going to start at 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. Good job, guys. All right, so you just finished 2 of your math lessons in 1 because they were pretty easy. We were learning about the number 0 and just reviewing our other numbers. Thank you, guys. Have a great Monday. Bye.